This is my tier list for the best Necromancer builds to play in Season 9 of Diablo 4. Spoiler alert, there is a new top meta build that will surpass Bloodwave. Let's begin. Quickly starting on the F tier, we have Bloodlands and Blood Surge. Now for Bloodlands, I think Bloodlands is being destroyed. This build never enjoyed being a top meta build, and it has some amazing concepts. I think Bloodlands definitely needs buff for Season 10 because Bloodlands has some amazing unique items such as the Mutilator Plate, and it has some great concepts which can be played around by players and create an amazing meta build. So I really want Bloodlands to be buffed for Season 10. Now, going forward to Blood Surge is also destroyed. I think the overpower formula change will affect it, definitely it affects it. And I think Blood Surge needs incredible buffs to become meta, because you cast Blood Surge, the 5th one usually overpowers, that's the guaranteed overpower one, and the nerfs to overpower or the changes to the overpower formula really affects it because it actually benefited a lot from max HP, but it is what it is, it needs a lot of buffs. Now, this was the F tier, we're gonna move on to C tier. On C tier, I have placed the Golem Necromancer. While the Golem Necromancer has seen some changes, I have no idea how to operate Kalan's Edict key passive when we have to sacrifice minions to buff our Golem. Basically, the new Golem Paragon requires you to sacrifice your Skeletal Warriors and Skeletal Mages, so you get 35% X multiplicative bonus damage increase to your Golem. But then again, you have Kalan's Edict key passive, which literally tells you that you have multiplicative damage increase when your minions die. So I have no idea how to operate this Golem build with the Kalan's Edict key passive. You might think that spawning Bone Prison and then despawning it could count as a kill and it could trigger Kalan's Edict, but then again, there is a difference between minions and summons in this build, so I have to test it on Season 9. Right now, I'm a bit confused about this. I think this is just bad design and it needs further work. It is going to be on the C tier. After the Golem Necromancer, we're again on C tier. All the Affliction key passive builds will also go under C tier. It's just bad performance. These builds will not have optimal performance. Moving on to B tier. Now, Sever is looking to be around this tier. There are no super big changes to the Sever Necromancer. The build is really cool, but I think it needs some buffs. I am expecting B tier builds to be around Pit 95 clears. So definitely a solid build, but then again, not the best, not the greatest for meta pit push builds. Now, after the Sever builds, this is controversial, but I have placed Bloodspear. Bloodspear has got a massive nerf with the Bone Duster aspect because they changed this aspect. So the aspect has been changed so that the first Bone Spear cast is only going to overpower. Back in Season 8, when Bloodspear was the king, you would just place a Bone Prison and you would just spam your Blood Spears. Your Bone Spears, all of them would overpower as long as the enemy was placed, located inside the Bone Prison. They have changed this aspect and they have effectually nerfed it. So according to my calculation, you just remove a 0 from your damage. Just divide it by 10 or 9 or something like this. The number is basically a prediction at this point, but it is going to lose a lot of damage, that's for sure. Another disadvantage is the less healing, because only the first cast of the Bone Spear is going to overpower, which means your Supernatural Bone Spear upgrade will be less valuable. So less overpowers, less healing. This is going to create a lot of gameplay loop problems, because back in Season 8 we just wanted to press Bone Spear, Blood Spear, spam it, machine gun it, and then enjoy the game. Right now, it's going to be a bit more clunkier. It's definitely a solid build, but it's not gonna be the best build for Season 9. So, there you go. And then we have Bone Spirit. This is not the two-hander Bone Spirit. I am talking about the one-hander Bone Spirit version. I think the Bone Spirit with the new shadow aspect, I'm gonna link that aspect around the screen. Could see some cool play, but then again, I mean, it's definitely not optimal to play. It's definitely, I think, gonna be better than Blood Spear. So I'm going to be putting Bone Spirit on the top of the B tier. Now, moving on to A tier, we have Shadow Blight Ebon Piercer. I think this build is looking better. It's really great for farming because you have a lot of advantages with this build. It is extremely comfortable to play, and it's just basically a spam blight, enjoy the game type of build. You just spam blight, you just enjoy the build. You don't think that much, don't have to do that much as well. I think this is a great farming build, and you're gonna enjoy playing Shadow Blight Ebon Piercer because Shadow Blight has seen some buffs, and it will definitely buff up this build as well. Now, moving on to the S tier, I have some good news. Not the best of news, but still good news regardless. We have the Summon Necromancer. The Summon Necromancer is finally in S tier, and it is finally meta. I just wish Blizzard would make more meaningful changes and rework the Mage Glyph for Season 9. Unfortunately, this is definitely a missed opportunity by Blizzard because they fixed the gloves. So aside from fixing the plus skeletal mage mastery ranks on the gloves, Blizzard could buff or rework the mage glyph, especially the additive damage portion of it, and then change the bonus effect from minion resistances to 35% X skeletal mage damage. Right now, this glyph has minion resistances as the bonus effect. Just remove it. Our mages are tanky as hell. Just give us 35% X multiplicative skeletal mage damage. We put on the gloves, we have 12 to 14 skeletal mages. Boom! Insane build. I am expecting the skeletal mage build, the Hand of Naz skeletal mage summon Necromancer, to definitely clear above pit 100. Probably pit 102. They have also nerfed the pits, but we don't know how much they nerfed the pits. So this is just guesswork because I don't have the numbers. I don't know how much they nerfed the pits, but definitely pit 102 and above should be cleared by the Summon Necromancer Hand of Naz Skeletal Mage. Rejoice. And hopefully Blizzard will continue to improve this build. Blizzard will continue to buff this build for Season 10. I want this build to become S+ tier for the next season, hopefully. Now, in the S tier, we have the dot version of Bloodwave. This build is on the rise. It actually performed really well on the PTR. I have not personally played this build, but I have seen other players play it. They have cleared above pit 100, and this is a really cool build to play. So this is definitely gonna be on the S tier as well. And another controversial thing, I'm gonna say, unfortunately, despite all the nerfs, the overpowered Bloodwave is still going extremely strong. It is an S tier build. This build will continue to be S tier for the third consecutive season, and I am expecting a pit clear of minimum 103 and 104 with this build. I played this build on PTR, and without using any powers, I cleared pit 101, and this build could easily go pit 105 plus. Now, of course, the overpower formula has been changed. Build also creates less blood orbs. However, you can easily overcome that because you have a lot of lucky hits, and also you can put 1 point into transfusion from your passive skills, and you can create orbs this way. It will basically just negate that nerf, so you're gonna enjoy your time with this build. This is a really strong build, and I don't want Blizzard to nerf this build. I think it should just buff other builds. And now, let's talk about the winner of Season 9. This is by far the best Necromancer build to play. This upcoming build is gonna be S tier. The top of the S tier belongs to a new Necromancer build. That will be the top meta Necromancer build for Season 9. This is the Shadow Blight crit version. The Dot Shadow Blight Necromancer is back with the crit version. It is performing really good. This build has already cleared pit 100 during the PTR before the buffs. And it is massively buffed with the patch notes. Final patch notes are in, so we're gonna have a look. Shadow Blight cap has been increased from 300% to 450%. We are looking at 37.5% DPS increase just with this buff. Also, we have the Blighted Aspect buff. The Blighted Aspect has been increased from 25% to 35%. This is another approximate 33% DPS increase. So basically, if we look at the pit tier increase, usually +1 pit tier is like 15 to 20% DPS requirement, okay? 15 to 20% DPS increase is 1 pit tier. This build just got a massive buff, and this build is definitely gonna be the top build to play during Season 9. Even if Blood Wave clears 1 or 2 pit tiers higher than this build, which would really surprise me, by the way. I think this build is going to definitely surpass and overtake Blood Wave. But even if Blood Wave somehow manages to clear 1 or 2 pit tiers above this build, I still suggest you play this build. You play the Shadow Blight crit version, because people are bored of Shadow Blood Wave, unfortunately, because it has been dominating the Necromancer meta for 3 consecutive seasons now. It should still be strong, still be viable, but it's time to buff other builds. Blizzard, it's time to actually buff other builds and not nerf the performing builds. Buff the other ones, do not nerf the performing builds. Please, Blizzard, listen to us. So, how does this build work? It's actually really interesting, because I have seen other players play this build during the PTR. I have not personally played this build. I have looked at other players playing it, then I made my calculations. I have also spoken to other Necromancer players to get some more information about this build. Now, of course, by looking at this build, I could tell you 2 things. The crit Shadow Blight version performs because you are going to spam a lot of Blighted Corpse explosions, and you're gonna spam your Ebon Piercer Blight casts. So Blight, when you pair it with Ebon Piercer, could cast twice, okay? And then when it actually shoots out 4 particles, this would definitely affect your dot, and it would start triggering your Shadow Blight. As you know, you have 6 seconds to pump up your Shadow Blight, and your Shadow Blight has to take 8 times to actually explode. That Shadow Blight explosion damage is not a dot. That's a direct damage, and that can crit. So within the window of that 6 seconds, we want our Shadow Blight to tick up 8 times as fast as possible and reward us with the Shadow Blight proc. When Shadow Blight procs, we need 100% critical strike chance, so that it can crit and get all the multipliers that way. This is the build. I will release a separate guide video for this build, so stay tuned, subscribe to my channel, so you will have all the latest cutting edge tech applied to the game. So my final words, I think Season 9 is not gonna be a great season, because there are a lot of nerfs to certain builds and a lot of players are frustrated because of that. I think the nerf to the Blood Spear was a bit uncalled for. I think that's a bit unfair. I do not want them to nerf Bloodwave, but at the same time, I would love to see some mega omega buffs to the Hand of Naz, Skeletal Mage, Summon Necromancer. I mean, we'll still take it, but I would really want it to be stronger, absolute champion of Season 9. However, I'm also happy to see a Shadow Blight Necromancer build making a return. Hopefully, it will continue to perform really strong, and hopefully it will be the top Necromancer meta build of Season 9. Calculations show that it is going to be extremely strong, and I would like to say that it's going to be probably the top choice for most of the competitive Necromancer players. So hopefully for Season 10, they will create more diverse builds, and we will have more diverse builds competing to the top and become the best Necromancer builds. I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Take care.